Hi there. Welcome to Tech Talk Weekly. I'm Bob from Creation Station. This is our weekly show where we talk about wine. Well, maybe not every week, but at least this week we've got a fun story on it. We have 3 or 4 interesting stories for you, get you on your way in about 20 minutes. Today I have Hayley St. John from the North Cluster, programming and extraordinaire of everything. Haley, how are you doing?
I'm great, thanks, Bob. Beautiful weather we're having, so
Oh, I'm moving south. It's way too cold. It's in the 50s. Come on now. This is crazy.
I couldn't believe it the other day. I woke up and it had dropped 20 degrees
I know.
overnight. It was wonderful.
My air conditioner's like, wait, what do you mean you don't?
I'm on vacation now.
Yeah. So tell us what you do there as a programmer for the North Cluster, because that's different. All month long, we've been featuring programmers. Most of them have been at one building, but you do a lot more than that.
So I have 2 regional locations. That's North Regional Broward College Library on the Broward College campus, North Campus, and then the Coral Springs or the Northwest Regional Library in Coral Springs. And then I work with another 10 locations in the north of Broward County.
So just 12 buildings just to cover something for everybody, for all ages, yeah.
But primarily I'm at the big regionals, and there I arrange events and exhibits.
Yeah, at the end here, I want to show off that one that you've got coming up. That looks pretty cool. If I was off that day, I would be out there. I've got my own event I'm doing.
It's Saturday.
I know. I'm working another event. I got a healthcare fair I'm working.
Oh, okay.
I'm showing off brains. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today, we have a bad story to start with, because that's just the way things are sometimes. We have had 21 more species declared extinct by the U.S. government, by Fish and Wildlife Service. That was earlier this week. That included a whole bunch of different birds, some bats. One of the reasons this came up in my feed, besides all the ecological stuff, this right here, I had never even heard of. The Bachman's warbler apparently was all over Florida in the past, and it has disappeared because of development and such. And it has not been spotted in 70 years.
So, this article is very depressing.
I'm sorry, yes.
I'm sure that some people may say, or you could argue, that this is just part of evolution. I mean, a species become extinct and, the rest of life continues.
Yeah.
My concern, however, is that with things like birds and insects, and I know insects are also becoming extinct, certain insects.
Yeah.
You've got pollination. It may impact pollination, and then what's going to happen with food.
Yeah, definitely. And that is a definite thing in Florida. If anybody out there doesn't know, Florida actually right now imports bees every spring to pollinate the orange groves so that we can grow all the oranges that they're fighting to keep going because of other diseases now with oranges. Agriculture is really in a mess in a lot of places around the country. And there's some good stuff in this article. That's why we have it. And by the way, everything's in the show notes as always for you, so that you can go in and check out and see exactly what we're talking about with bees. But they have, over the last 50 years, they did bring back 110 different species have come off of the list, that have recovered their populations and have come off.
But am I correct in saying in that article somewhere it says 3 billion birds since 1970?
That is one of the big problems. That's 3 billion birds alone, just birds, not species, but overall birds are gone that have been killed off. Let's find out, where's the other one? There's 650 species that have gone now. 39% of all amphibian species are gone. And that's just in the last 20 years.
And the thing is, we don't know necessarily what the total impact is going to be. I mean,
right. It's happening so fast that keep
But
up.
even with the amphibians, they're food for other species, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very depressing.
Well, I've got
Life,
something a little less depressing.
fortunately, life doesn't go much beyond 100 years.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping we go for quite long. I'm planning on being around for a longer time. So, but maybe, hopefully, we won't have all the spam phone calls much longer.
Yeah.
Ha! I know. Here we go. This is a hopeful story, everybody. This is a hopeful thing. Trust me. Let me explain why. So you're getting all this spam phone calls, all these robocalls and things like that. They happen because there is a list of carriers that the FCC says, if someone originates a phone call from this list of carriers, you have to accept it as another carrier. So if there was a Bob phone company out there and I put in a phone call, AT&T has to accept the phone call from me and pass it along to whoever I was trying to call. There are rules, though. There are 20 carriers as of Monday that are on a list that will be taken off of that network. And that is because they are refusing to agree to the rules of what you're supposed to do.
But wait a minute, Bob.
Yeah,
Are they actually refusing, or they just passively didn't submit the correct papers?
That's the key thing.
Yeah.
It's basically that some of them passively just didn't submit anything. You had a deadline last spring of turning in some stuff. The FCC's gone back and done, and this Monday they released a list of these 20 carriers that have until the end of October. So as of October 31st, if they have not corrected, put in place the safeguards to stop spam calls, signed off on these documents, and done these things, they will be taken off the networks. No one will have to accept their calls anymore. So it's incumbent upon them, if they want to be a legitimate business, that they should be doing this.
But
yeah, go for it. Tell us.
the thing that I found so amusing was that they obviously don't take the whole process very seriously.
Right.
Because, I mean, some of them submitted blank pages. Some obviously submitted this Windows printed.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. Did they assume that the FCC would not get around to checking that?
I think that some of them thought that it wouldn't matter, that they could just get away with doing anything they wanted to. I think some of them were intentionally saying, oh, wait, we submitted something. Now, oh, wait, no, you can't take us off. We submitted it. Oh, no, and planning on fighting it as long as they can, because they remember, spam works because you only need a very, very small number of people to fall for it. If you send out 1 million spam messages and you convince one person to give you $100, you've just made $99, because you can get 1 million spam messages out there for $1 nowadays. That's how easy it is. So if you can just get one person to answer that phone and say, oh, hey, I want to do this. Oh yeah, I'll buy that thing from you and send you money. Then yeah, you've made money. So that's kind of the problem.
Really, still, I mean, I guess people are still falling for it.
Yeah. Every once in a while, they will get lucky and find someone who falls for something or does something, and yeah, it ends up being horrible. But yeah, and 18 of the 20 companies wouldn't even acknowledge they were going to try to fix anything. So
well, when
they're just limping along as long as they can, and then when they finally get shut down in November, then they'll go on to some other kind of scam, I guess.
Yeah, they'll probably open a new company. And
yeah, I'm very sad about that.
A different name.
And we'll see what happens with that. We'll see how much they can do with that.
Yeah.
But on a happier note, I mean, this is not such a bad thing. I mean, I think this is the one that they're trying to go along and fix it, and the FCC is doing a good job there.
But there is question about how come it took them this long to get to it.
Rules and regulations. It's been 2 years that these people had a chance to fix things and they didn't. So now that's going to go away. Now, is spam going to go away and robocalls going away? I doubt it, but maybe there'll be less. And our next story is another one of those future things for us. Maybe in the future, we'll have someone to take care of us.
Well, I don't think this is going to happen.
Tell me, why
I'll
not?
tell you why. Because there are some studies out there where they did use robots, in a limited environments. And it was determined that the people didn't get better. They got worse because they need the human connection. And more studies are finding that isolation, is impacting us. And so I don't think it's going to work. I mean, it may work on. So one of the things I read was that these robots are very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And so if they think they're going to do away with humans, it's not going to work because it doesn't,
No. Yeah. And that's one of the things that
handle the robots. So
part of it is, though, that one of the issues they have is the number of people, the number of nurses and everything like that. It's expected they've shrunk the number of nurses who do in-home. Remember, this is more like going to your home and doing this in residence care. The number of nurses doing that has gone down by over 12%, but the number of companies trying to employ people to do it has grown by 60%.
But you know what the big problem is? Those are some of the lowest paying jobs.
Yep.
And the companies are making buku bucks, but the caregivers are not. And they work hard, long hours, and they get they're low pay.
Yeah.
And so, something's got to give. But I don't think robots are the solution.
Well, I think part of the way that they're envisioning this, and this is working in Japan, is that they're using robots there, and they're not like these robots. This is one of the weird things. Like this kind of robot that we got on the screen here with a real face and stuff, these don't work very well. It's not that they show empathy. It's not, and it doesn't make people feel better about them. We teach a whole robot class. We'll send you out the links if you need to. You know how to get in touch with us by email. And you can see how a different face on the robot, this doesn't look any better. Having a humanish type face on it doesn't make the robot look any better for you, doesn't make it any friendlier. But there are robots in Japan that they have found that are working better, they'll take your pulse, your blood pressure, etc. But they don't look like this. They look like animals. So it's like holding a dog, holding a cat, holding a seal. So it's not a robot that's going to go around your house like this. It's more of a robot that is there just as a assistive device in a way to do things. And that's my guess. Because like you said, we're never getting rid of humans. The robot's not going to replace humans. It just can't.
No, but it's the human connection that's important for our survival. But I don't know if you saw that article about the dog robot that Hills, the pet food company have engaged a robot dog, and it was at some fancy ceremony, and it walked up onto the stage, upstairs and everything, and then promptly fell off the stage.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think we've got a long way to go.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, we definitely have. And I think that, and that's one of the things we talk about in the robots classes is, warehousing and those kinds of things. That's the primary thing that most people are using robots for. Healthcare. It's more of a telehealth thing. It's going to help you sync to someone, but it's not going to, like you said, we're not replacing nurses. We just don't have enough of them.
Well,
it's not like we're going to put any nurse out of a job. We just don't have enough nurses in the first place.
What they're doing in Hawaii, and it's been relatively successful, is they're paying family caregivers to take care of family. So as long as the person has a full-time job, and in addition they're taking care of family member, they get extra money. They get paid for that. So that would encourage more people to take care of their own family.
I think it would be great. Yeah. We did that for all of our family. My family's been in it. My grandmother, my aunt, we took care of my mother-in-law, all those kinds of things. All that home healthcare stuff that's just been in our DNA as our home.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, by the way, we use the Temi robot around the library system. It's out at several other branches. You can always go take a look at it if you want to know what one of these assistive robots does. We've proven it's not going to replace any of our library staff. It's just there to help out. So come take a look at it. Well, I've got one last story for you, Hayley.
Yeah, and this is my favorite.
This is the one, isn't it?
Way to end off the day with wine.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you what I think about natural wine.
So let's be clear about this for everybody out there.
Yes.
Go read this article because it really goes into it. You may be surprised. There are lots of rules and regulations about organic wine,
But
and
not
there's
natural.
zero regulations about natural wine. Fill us in, Hayley.
It bothers me that, I mean, even before I read this article, when you go to the store on any product, when they say natural flavoring, well, if it's so natural, why don't you put what it is?
Yeah.
That's my question. And so I definitely think there needs to be rules and guidelines to define what natural is. I mean, there was one winemaker they referred to in the article who says he doesn't think that there should be more rules, but I definitely think so, because you know what is natural.
And that's
everything is arsenic is natural.
Let's not get it. We're not putting arsenic in any wine. We are not saying that anyone is putting arsenic in wines. We are saying that but they are putting sulfites. They are putting certain things. Now, if you're saying, not you, Hayley, but if somebody out there is saying, hey, wait a minute, if you're adding sulfites, that's not natural. Technically, it is. Sulfites are a naturally occurring thing in wine. And so you need to figure out what you're going to do. Some wines do, some wines don't. Some wines filter, some wines don't. And so
some wines, natural wines, are pressed by people's feet.
Yeah, doing the whole pressing by feet thing, the whole traditional Greek Roman thing. I was kind of like, that's weird.
I'm always looking for wines without sulfites, because I find sulfites give me a headache.
Yeah, that is a common thing.
So I'd be happy with wine without sulfite.
And one of the things that stood out to me, and this reminded me about our Creation Station Monthly that we did on wine last year, was Northern Michigan. So here's this owner of new cellars in Northern Michigan. How many people out there would think Michigan is a wine growing place? So there are lots of small wine growers out there in your local area. No matter where you live on this planet, I bet you there is a wine grower not too far away that's doing something interesting. So go take a look at this. This is a lengthy article. So you want to go take a look at it and see what are you thinking about? What are you using? What are you going to try and do from a small producer versus a mass produced? Do you want different? Do you want to be a little bit of randomness depending on which bottle you open and things? It gets into really different stuff in here. So I think it's a fun little topic to really dig in. I think we could sit and spend some more time on this, do some experimenting.
Yeah, I like the idea of it being random, but I can see from a business perspective that's not going to work. So
yeah, I'm not sure that I want to buy a case of wine and have it sit around for 4 or 5 years as I wait for it to maybe randomly be good or maybe randomly not. I'm not sure that I like that idea.
Well, you're not supposed to spend too much money on that.
Yeah. But you do have something that is a little bit random, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So tell us about this. This is this Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, the 21st of October, at 2 p.m., we have the Paranormal Existence Research Society at the North Regional Broward College Library. And this is a group of individuals that are basically real-life ghost hunters. And they come in and they bring all their equipment with them. and demonstrate the equipment, and then also, talk about the kind of cases they've been on, what they experience, and they also open it up to questions from the audience. So if you've had any ghostly experiences or paranormal experiences, do come around and check them out. The leader of the group is on the Travel Channel and Discovery in the Devil's Academy. So go check it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and this is all in person, everybody. So if you're not in South Florida, sorry, you'll have to come on down, catch a quick thing, and come on down and hang out with us. But yeah, this is one of those. This is gonna be fun, and this is all about haunted Florida, not just down here in South Florida, but all over Florida. So if you're off on Saturday, if you've got got a little bit in the afternoon, pop over there. North Regional's on Broward College North Campus.
Yep.
And
it's easy to get to from the turnpike, and there's no charge.
See, free ghosts. What more could you want with that? Thank you so much for being here, Miss Hayley. Let's throw up our final slide. If there is a library or librarian you want us to feature on the show one week, reach out to us, creationstation@broward.org. We'll see everybody next week. Have a great time.
Bye.